The International Olympic Committee.
In 1990, with the visionary efforts of Maynard Jackson, the legislative efforts of Marvin Arrington, the diplomatic efforts of Andrew Young, and so many more, the city of Atlanta won the bid to host the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. The Olympic Games would cement Atlanta's place as an international city and a tourist destination.
It was very successful, in which he helped a great deal. We raised $2.5 billion of private money, no government money. 41% of that money went to minority and female-owned companies. It was a tremendous success. It was the largest Olympics ever, and there hadn't been an Olympics as big as ours since.
In terms of presenting Atlanta to the world, the 1996 Olympics was some of the best pageantry and pomp and circumstance of how that works. It was beautiful. I mean, when you would be out amongst people, you heard every language being spoken, you saw tourists. But in terms of just culture and image, in terms of how Atlanta was franchised for world consumption, in terms of how it was marketed, I mean, it was one of the greatest feats of showmanship that had been seen in terms of what a city could do.
When Atlanta got the Olympic Games for 1996, then that even brought in more international people. They began to look at it and explore opportunities in Atlanta. And that was the thing, that outlook and the concern of Atlanta continuing to grow and prosper was something that helped Atlanta become an international city.
May have been Frederick Douglass who said around 1863, power concedes nothing but out of demand. Never has and never will. I was the vice chairperson of the Olympics Committee. And whatever they decided for the other community, I've always raised the issue.
Marvin's role in helping us get the Olympics, which was very important, will continue to play a very large role in our preparation for the Games. Now that we've been successful in winning the Games. And as vice chairman of Mayoga, he will play a critical role in overseeing our construction contracts and making sure that our venue plan is in the best long-term interest of the community.
The Olympics was not technically awarded to the city. It was awarded to this nonprofit organization. But there was so much for us to do in approving permits and any number of things to get the city prepared. Street improvements, so all kinds of things that we had to do with a fairly short deadline that wasn't movable. So it was important that we do things swiftly, and he was always there making sure things went through the committees in a timely way.
Before the Olympics came to Atlanta, building up to the Olympics, decisions that were made to invest in various parts of our city and to see growth and see housing and to see jobs and companies locate here that ultimately fed families, to see the revitalization of public housing in Atlanta. A lot of that was on his watch in some shape, form, or fashion, or he had a voice in that, or advised people such as myself and others on how to do it better and do it well. So he is definitely someone who put an imprint on City Hall as a council president, and it will be there forever.
Atlanta is an international city. It is an exceedingly prosperous city, exceedingly diverse city, where people of all races and stripes and creeds, colors, and all of that can live and prosper here. And all of that is made possible through the legacy and the contributions of Marvin Arrington, being open-minded, being fair, knowing that you are just as good as everybody else, and putting that mantra out there.
Marvin Arrington is one of the giants, one of the architects, one of the engineers who made Atlanta what it is today. So when people come here and ride and see this thriving, beautiful city, they have to understand that it didn't just happen overnight.
I don't think that we fully appreciate the contributions that Marvin Arrington made to the city and to the state. he was not bashful about speaking up. And you know, it's difficult to speak up, particularly if you have a voice that is different from the others. But that speaking up is what makes us great as a people. And Marvin Arrington was one that would speak up.
As the 90s arrived, Atlanta ranked among the top U.S. cities in Black businesses and Black home ownership. The city also saw an expansion of residents moving and working outward to nearby suburbs. This is all happening while the city's population is ballooning.
You can look around Atlanta today. You know, that's his legacy. Okay? That's one of his legacies in terms of making Black-owned businesses viable, in terms of the Atlanta airport, in terms of capital improvement projects for water and sewer, in terms of neighborhoods, in terms of development, from Buckhead to Southwest to Peoplestown to Reynoldstown. There is not one project that did not have Marvin Arrington's input in it. Not one.
Atlanta's rise, or its image as a Black Mecca, it's not a myth. It is real. And so when we talk about, you know, the opportunity to have a decent job, good housing, an opportunity for politics, Atlanta becomes a hub because you have several city officials and state officials that are Black that have been put into office. And so when we talk about, you know, the Black Mecca tradition, that is the manifestation of how we understand the Black Mecca.
It was the Black Mecca for education. It was the Black Mecca for opportunity. It was the Black Mecca. And people were attracted to that. They heard that slogan and they came. People came.
With Atlanta securing its place as a tourist destination, business and commerce hub, and internationally recognized community, the ever-ambitious Marvin Arrington set his sights high in representing the city he helped to transform. In 1997, he decided to run for mayor.
Marvin! Who do we want? Marvin!
No one know Atlanta like Marvin Arrington.
Make the change. Vote Marvin Arrington mayor.
I believe his bid for mayor was out of his love for the city and wanting the city to be great and wanting the city to be greater.
He was destined to be the mayor of the city of Atlanta.
Facing an incumbent mayor, Marvin Arrington went to work in campaigning against the admired Bill Campbell.
That matchup was phenomenal because you had two guys who understood politics, two who've been on the city council, one council president. For those of us who are political scientists, political watchers, it was one of the greatest. I mean, I talk about it in terms of like it's been an Ali Frazier fight. It was one of the greatest political matches that we've seen.
Marvin Arrington was gangster as a candidate. He spoke boldly. And don't get it twisted, many people resonated with that.
When Campbell was in office, well, during his first term, there were a lot of irregularities that had taken place. Marvin felt like the city needed to get back to basics.
Marvin made the decision to run against Mayor Campbell at the end of Mayor Campbell's first term. And Marvin really was doing quite well in that race. And Mayor Campbell, quite frankly, was a popular mayor, which really says a lot about Marvin's bona fides and how well he was liked and respected around town.
It's always difficult to take on an incumbent. Despite the incumbency, he ran an extraordinarily competitive race.
I do remember the energy. It was high is, I guess, not the right word. I guess you can almost cut it with a knife. The energy, contentious. I guess it's probably a polite word. Of saying what it was. And there were definitely camps. There were definitely camps on one side or the other.
Bill, a great guy from North Carolina, is not going to beat our local hometown hero. We were pulling for the guy who was just Atlanta's own.
Two big, heavy hitters going at it. And I remember at the time there was a feeling that perhaps Marvin should have waited after Bill had finished, and then the door would have flung open for him. But he decided to run and made it a very aggressive campaign for the heart of Atlanta, because I remember people having mixed feelings. On the one hand, people always felt that Marvin should and be the mayor of Atlanta. And then at the same time, some folks more in the Black community felt that maybe he should have waited till Bill got finished, because they didn't like seeing two strong Black men going after each other.
Time was not right and the situation wasn't right. I thought he was so unfairly put upon. That was a nasty, dirty political race among Black folks. And it was Black folks against Black folks. It was colorism. It was petty politics. And I just think he paid a heavy price.
We were doing fine in the race. When I joined the campaign, we were down at 30 points. We had gotten up to close to 50 points, and it was 3 weeks out. And Marvin did a radio interview, and somehow Maynard Jackson became part of the conversation. And he made a statement about Maynard that wasn't pleasant, and it upset the whole city.
When the moderator said, passing, what do you mean? And Bo caught himself and said, well, he was passing out encyclopedias. Well, that didn't go off right. The people who heard what he said took it to mean that while we were here on the front line for civil rights, Maynard was passing and using his skin tone, straight hair, whatever you want to call it, to his benefit. And that just didn't come across right.
Marvin, I think, was in the midst of a heated debate, and I think he said something he wished maybe he should not have said, and provided a significant opening. And the opening politically was that it brought Maynard Jackson into the race. And that hurt because Maynard Jackson was well respected, and Maynard Jackson's legacy was solid. And Maynard Jackson in and of himself was a force. And you just didn't want to lock horns with him. And so he put himself in a position where he had to lock horns with Mayor Campbell and with Mayor Jackson, and that hurt.
Basically, he gave Maynard Jackson the microphone. And when Maynard gets the microphone, it's all over. On any subject, you give Maynard a microphone, it'll be over with. So he didn't have a microphone before. It was all on Bill's microphone. But he gave Maynard's microphone, and that was what the big downfall for us, I think.
If that election had been held the day before that radio program, I think Marvin would have won. But it was after that radio program. It wasn't Marvin versus Bill Campbell. It was Marvin versus Maynard Jackson.
I think Marvin would have been elected mayor, and he would have been a great mayor.
He made a mistake. He's talking about Maynard Jackson. I love Marvin, I love Maynard Jackson, but you don't talk about a Morehouse man.
That's his mistake. That's why he ain't the mayor of this town now. You don't with a Morehouse man, okay?
He shouldn't have said it. Maynard was a great leader, but that's Marvin. If Marvin is a street fighter, you jump on him, he's gonna jump on you. And that's what he did.
I often think about it. Had Marvin been elected mayor, Atlanta really would have truly understood the greatness of Marvin Arrington as mayor, because he had been there. He had a hand in every major capital improvement project in Atlanta. But fate had it that he didn't get it, so.
Arrington says he will take some time off to get some much-needed rest, and then he will return to his private law practice. This is the first time in 27 years he has been out of public office, because this is the first race he's ever lost.
After his tough defeat to Mayor Campbell, Arrington lent his time to his law practice, working hard for his clients while grooming in the next generation of lawyers.
I think that the legacy of Marvin in the legal community is really how he has championed at every level people being involved in the legal profession, whether those are being as lawyers or, for that matter, as judges.
As it relates to the practice of law, he taught me that you have to focus more on the business of law. That there are a lot of good people who know how to practice law, but they do not know how to run a law practice. So he taught me operationally and functionally how to run a law firm.
Many lawyers, many judges have followed the path of a Marvin Arrington. He was a leader in terms of reaching back to help others who were maybe not as fortunate as others were. He helped the least of these become somebodies. Marvin has set a tone for this town, particularly those of color. Marvin helped poor folks, black kids who wanted to be somebody say, follow me, I got you.
His history has always been one of inclusion. There are some people, when they get to a station in life, have what I call the drawbridge mentality. I've got it. The way that I advance myself is to draw the bridge to keep anybody else from getting what I got. And Marvin was just the opposite of that, the polar opposite of that, that he would try to include everybody in and encourage everybody to come get what I've got, because there's so much that we can do to help our communities if you do it. And he'll be forever remembered for that. And I will personally be forever thankful for it.
Down to 85, wanna take a drive. Got my driver's license, but I don't know how to drive. My mom picks us up, too young for the club, but I know a place in town that'll give us the same buzz. Cascade, where we stay.
You look at the corridor, the house that we're sitting in right now in this neighborhood. Congressman John Lewis is up the street. Ambassador Young is maybe 2 minutes away from Marvin Arrington Sr. Maybe 2 minutes away from Marvin Arrington Sr. is Reverend Joseph Laurie. You make another right, you would see Hank Aaron's home. You go a little further, you would see Mayor Franklin's home. You come into my neighborhood, you'd see Mayor Bottom's home. All within about 10 minutes. I don't think that that's a mistake. I think it's because we were able to see people do things and achieve excellence.
Going back to the time when Atlanta was a smaller place, it was Collier Heights and it was Cascade and Hunter Hills and these places that our families came together and grew out of. And Cascade Southwest area was a central component of that. And as Atlanta has grown, it has become even more symbolic of justice places. So many of us, whether physically, mentally, or emotionally, still call home. And again, Marvin Arrington represented that. It was a place that African Americans in Atlanta moved to when they moved from the core, the west side of the city. They began to navigate further out.
There's something in the water, for sure, in Southwest Atlanta that we're drinking. It's obviously city water, but I don't know what's in the pipes over there, but it gives a certain type of energy to the DNA and RNA that gives us a resilience, gives us a commitment to excellence across many platforms. Marvin Arrington Sr. was always one of the most iconic to me in a very interesting and unique way because his home was on our Pride and Joy Street, Cascade, and every time you ride down Cascade, you could point to the left or to the right and say, oh, that's where Marvin Arrington lives. That's where the council president lives. It's a stately, wonderful, beautiful home, Southern home, and it just gave you the feeling that you know that you can achieve the same thing or better as a young person, as a teenager. It's like, I can do that.
At the turn of the century, just as Marvin Arrington was set to retire from public life, another calling came his way.
He didn't ask to be judge. I called him up and I said, Marvin, I said, I want to appoint you Superior Court judge. He said, well, you know, I'm about retired. And I said, I don't care whether you're retired or not. I said, they need somebody down there like you that understands how tough it is for a kid to grow up on the streets and how important it is for that kid to get a break so it doesn't ruin the rest of his life. And that integrity is what I wanted to impart through Marvin to the folks that came before him, and he did a wonderful job in it.
He was a great jurist. He distinguished himself on that bench and was very successful in some of his rulings.
God has a very interesting way of knowing a greater plan for us. And when he became a judge, I think that was the absolute perfect fit to have him on the bench, someone who was firm, fair, compassionate, thoughtful, sitting on the bench and dishing out justice, but also understanding the plight of our people, African-American men, African-American women. That judgeship was divine. And I think that is a part of his lasting legacy, that he will be remembered for what he did on the bench during the years that he served.
Small drug offenders, in the first instance, that we thought was worth saving, we just cannot continue to warehouse all these young men. We don't have the facilities, the resources, and it appeared to us that we could take them in, help them get a GED or get a high school diploma, and then apply to college. And that's a way of helping them be a better person.
Seeing him in court and being proud that here is this Black man who helped to integrate Emory Law School and who had to originally leave to go to a different state because he couldn't go to law school in the very state that he loved. And he was sitting as a jurist in the largest trial court in Georgia is something to be extremely proud of.
He is a professional and a legal scholar. At heart, he's a servant. He's a servant leader.
Marvin Arrington's tenacity and his prowess as both a politician and a legal scholar and a judge. I mean, he's combined the two. Many go into politics and go into business success. He's been a legal, brilliant mind who also excelled as a city council president. So he's had the law, be it creating law or practicing law, has been his defining essence.
Appointed in 2002 as Fulton County Superior Court judge, the Honorable Marvin Arrington Sr. brought his passion to the bench.
All right. Superior Court of Fulton County is now in session. Honorable Judge Marvin S. Arrington Sr. presiding. Court will now come to order.
Thank you very much, and please be seated.
But it was one story in 2008 that put him in the national spotlight.
African Americans have been debating for years how tough to be on young black men. But for one judge in Atlanta, that debate is over.
All rise.
Judge Marvin Arrington has had it.
People are shooting people, robbing people, dropping out of school.
Same people in his Atlanta courtroom over and over.
90% of you all are Afro-Americans.
Arrington's offended and embarrassed.
I wonder sometimes what in the world the Dr. King knows and all of them died for.
He thinks the tough love is long overdue. As a kid, Arrington himself was a bit of a thug, the sort of kid he often now sees in court. Family and teachers set him straight.
I was just hanging out being one of the boys. And one day their light clicked on. I didn't want to be one of the boys.
Arrington's now trying to turn around others.
Got a short life, man, and try to make something out of it.
But Arrington has also taken it a step further. First, he cleared his courtroom of all white people to chew out black defendants in private, in what he now admits was a mistake. Critics howled.
Because all I was trying to say to young people, hey, we are for you. Get yourself together.
I recall when, as judge, he cleared the courtroom of everyone but just young black men or black men. And when I heard about it, I said, hell, that's classic Marvin. I said, that's can't say how I want to say it, but I said, that's some good stuff there. That's what I thought. And when there was this backlash, I couldn't understand it. Here's a man who's a judge who took the bully pulpit he had at the moment. He was never afraid to use his bully pulpit, and to do something with that bully pulpit that he thought was going to help somebody and make a difference. And that's what he did.
And I called him up and I said, Marvin, you did exactly the right thing. You did what I want you to do. You wanted to talk to those kids and tell them, listen, you're just not a case before me. You're a human being, and I've been where you've been, and I've been on the streets you've been in, and I'm here to tell you that you can make a difference, but you got to straighten that. You cannot keep on like that. And I thought the criticism was unwarranted because it was exactly what I knew Marvin would do.
Does it shock me that he asked lawyers, including white lawyers, to leave the courtroom for him to talk to what I knew he considered to be his people? Absolutely not. In fact, I commend him for it if he did it. I have no issue with him doing that. I'm sure that there are people who might, but they don't know him. He came up during a time when you had to make certain things happen, and he just simply felt that young black men and young black women needed to handle their business a certain way in order to keep themselves out of the criminal justice system.
Arrington continued his work as a passionate court judge until 2012, when he officially retired.
He's always bounced back from adversity. That's his story. Nothing has put Marvin Arrington down. Nothing. He still rises. He's like the ashes of Atlanta, still rising.
So I think a lot of people just take for granted this just happened. But it didn't happen just that easily. It happened with great sacrifice. Because the other thing that you have to realize is that even when you are building this beautiful thing we call Atlanta, this wonderful mosaic and tapestry, everybody ain't gonna like you. His management of City Council is what make him legendary. And I'm so glad that the City Council saw fit to name the City Council chambers after him, because the fact of the matter is we haven't had another City Council president like him. Won't be another one like him. He was a standard bearer for that job.
Anybody who loves Atlanta, Georgia more than Marvin Arrington. And he fought for it and will continue to fight for it and did not back down from anybody. Black, white, poor, rich, it didn't matter. He loved and would fight for Atlanta and poor people in Atlanta in particular. He did it, really, truly did it his way.
And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this.
that I think this chamber will have a long, long, hard journey to live up to the legacy that Marvin Arrington has created for us.
You are Council President Emeritus of the City of Atlanta, and now we are honoring you by putting your name on a chamber that you have graced us with your service. Thank you so much.
1, 2, 3. All right.
It is a pleasure, it is an honor to be here today to pay homage to a great leader of our city, a great man in our community, a great public servant, someone who thought it not robbery to wash the feet of others through his public service. He ruled this chamber like mighty Zeus in Olympus. And it was a chamber that we aspire to the highest for the least of these. And it is his example that made this an august, mystical body of public service. We are forever in your debt, and we will ever aspire to your example, sir.
He spearheaded countless initiatives which contributed to Atlanta's advancement as an inclusive and welcoming city, offering equal opportunity to all. The City of Atlanta salutes the Honorable Marvin S. Arrington Sr.'s meaningful leadership and service, and we are proud to celebrate the renaming of the Atlanta City Council chambers in his honor.
Each and every time I and the public yet to come, those still on their way in the future, when they come into this chamber, they're going to see the name of a great Atlantan, a great man. So congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the President Emeritus of the Atlanta City Council, the Honorable Marvin S. Arrington Sr.
There's no words or words in Webster Dictionary that could adequately express my appreciation for this great honor. I'll forever be indebted to you. I think about the record by one of the top singers who said, "Change gonna come." Oh, yes, it is. When I came here in Safe State, we had separate water fountains, and I refused to drink out of them, and separate restroom facilities. I refused to do that. I said, we're going to integrate and be accounted for because we are constitutional students. But we just kept hanging in there saying things are going to get better. And they did, in fact, get better. This is a great city. This is a great day. I'm glad to be a part of this. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for this highly recommendation. I'll forever be indebted. Thank you very much.
I think Marvin Arrington, my dad, has been relevant for the past 4 decades because he cares about Atlanta. He cares about himself. He cares about the city, the people in the city and around the city. And, you know, the lesson that, you know, he always taught me was that to whom much is given, much is expected.
One of the great lessons I think we can all learn from Judge Arrington is to love your community. Love your community. Love all of it, because no one has a perfect community. I don't care who you are or where you live or where you're from, you don't come from perfection. Love your community. And when your community has an area where it lacks or there's a deficiency, don't kick your community down. Become the individual, become the mentor, become the catalyst in order to transform that narrative. And that is what Judge Arrington committed himself to.
Making my mom, the story of a man who wouldn't stay in his place. I saw injustices and I just wouldn't yield to it. I just kept fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, and I'm glad that I did.
Marvin's impact is going to be more locally because he was born and reared here, and he loves Atlanta.
And one of his books was a blueprint for the success of Atlanta. And his heart is devoted to Atlanta.
Then there's this art of reinvention. There are not many people who have long-lasting careers in various areas. So this is a man who is a partner at a prominent law firm. That was one career. And then to serve as city council president, that's another career. And then to have a long tenure on the bench, that's another career. And to do them all well, it can't be said about a lot of people, and that should be celebrated.
If you needed a best friend, you need somebody like Marvin Arrington, because he will always be with you, and it'll be fun to be with him the whole time.
The biggest legacy to me Marvin has left is that it doesn't matter where you come from, it's where you're going to. That Marvin Arrington, with his life, has shown anybody can be successful if you literally put your mind to it, get the education, work hard, and then give back. His legacy is one of being a participant, but also being a leader.
Fulton County, dirty, dirty. Georgia peaches, Grady babies. But please believe me, from College Park, Old Nasty, to the west side, down on Ashby, dirty, dirty.
Yeah.
Old Atlanta, old Atlanta.
I walk cat cave, I talk cat cave. I'ma shoot the dice, but you can get your back fade. I'm brown, high fly, they're high cool. I philosophize to fly with a high IQ. Bless me high chew, still keep it too. They wanna do, feel bucket fire deuce. Full tray all day, put on parlay, I'm original A. Hey, shawty, this native dialect, that's just some shit that we say. I'm always on display. Outside candy coated, inside parquet. Butter, country crock when we been a corner. That bitch slick pimpin' when I run up on her. She say I make her sick, give a bitch pneumonia. I get the party started from here to California.